What if I told you that in just 90 days, you could go from, I have no idea what to sell, to actually making sales with your own digital product? And what if I told you that the next 30 days are the most important part of that journey? If you nail this first month, everything else becomes so much easier. So let's talk about how to find your profitable digital product idea, because this is where it all begins. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Whitney, and I help online creators build online businesses with digital products. And today we're kicking off with something I'm really excited about: the 90-day digital product challenge. This is a 3-part series where I'm walking you through exactly what to do in each 30-day phase to go from idea to actual sales. This video is all about days 1 through 30, and this is the foundation of everything. Because if you skip this part or you rush through it, you'll end up creating something that nobody wants. And I don't want that for you. So grab your notebook, because we're going to map out your first 30 days together. But before we get into the actual day-by-day breakdown, let's talk about why this first month is so crucial. Most people fail with digital products because they create something that they think people want without actually validating it first. They spend weeks making this beautiful product. They launch it and crickets. And it's heartbreaking. But when you spend these first 30 days really digging into what your audience actually needs, what they're willing to pay for, and what you're uniquely positioned to create, literally everything changes. This month is about research, validation, and getting crystal clear on your idea. It's not the sexy part of the process, but it's the part that determines whether you're going to succeed or struggle. So let's break it down week by week. Week 1 is all about you. And I know that might sound selfish, but hear me out. You can't create something valuable for other people if you don't know what value you have to offer. So in days 1 and 2, you're going to take out a piece of paper, and I want you to brain dump every single skill that you have. And I'm not just talking about professional skills. I'm talking about everything. Can you organize a chaotic calendar? That's a skill. Are you good at meal planning? That's a skill. Do you know how to sell your home on a budget? Skill. Can you write emails that get responses? That's a skill. Don't overthink it. Just write. You're going to be surprised at how much you actually know. Okay, so moving on to days 3 and 4. This is when you're going to inventory your experience. Now, what have you been through? What problems have you solved in your own life? Maybe you figured out how to work full-time while building a side business. Maybe you've learned how to manage your anxiety. Maybe you've mastered budgeting as a single parent. Maybe you've built your own website with 0 tech skills. Every single problem that you've solved is something someone else is trying to solve right now, and they'd pay you to help them do it faster. So don't skip this part. Write it down. Moving on to days 5 through 7, this is all about what lights you up. Here's the thing. You can create a digital product about anything. But if you pick something that you don't actually care about, then you're going to burn out. So spend these days thinking about what you could talk about for hours. Think about what you research for fun. What do your friends always come to you for advice about? What topics make you lose track of time? Your digital product should live at the intersection of what you're good at and what you've experienced, and also what you actually enjoy. And then that's the sweet spot. Days 8 through 14 is for understanding who you're serving. So this is part of week number 2. And this is all about getting it into your audience's head, because you're not creating a product for everyone. You're creating it for a specific someone. And this is where you're going to start defining your ideal customer. So on days 8 and 9, you're going to get really specific. And I'm not talking about women in their 30s. I'm talking about, what does she do for work? What does her typical day look like? What's keeping her up at night? What are her goals? What has she already tried? Where does she hang out online? The more specific that you can get, the better. Because when you know exactly who you're talking to, everything from your product to your marketing becomes so much clearer and easier. Moving on to days 10 through 12, this is what we call the lurk and learn. Now it's time to go where your people are. So join Facebook groups, scroll through Reddit threads, read blog comments, watch YouTube videos in your niche, and here's the key. You're not just scrolling, you're actually taking notes. So be sure to bring your notebook and your pen with you. When you're doing this, I want you to pay attention to a few things. What questions do people keep asking? What are they frustrated about? What language do they use? What solutions have they tried that just didn't work? I keep a running document where I just copy and paste interesting comments and questions that I see. And this becomes gold when I'm creating products because I'm using their exact words and their exact problems. Moving on to days 13 and 14. And this is the part that most people skip, but it's the most important part, so don't skip it. Reach out to 5 or 10 people who fit your ideal customer profile. This could be friends, people in your audience, people in Facebook groups, and just ask them if you can pick their brain for like 15 minutes. Ask them, what's your biggest challenge with this topic right now? What have you tried to solve it? If you could wave a magic wand and have one tool or research to help, what would it be? These conversations will tell you exactly what to create. And when you launch, you can go back to these people and say, hey, remember when you said you needed this? I built it. Now moving on to days 15 through 21. Coming up with product ideas. Okay, so now the fun part. You've done the groundwork, you know what you bring to the table, and you know what your audience needs. Now, let's brainstorm. On days 15 and 16, we're going to do a brain dump. Set a timer for 30 minutes and write down every single digital product idea that you can think of. And I mean every idea. The good ones, the weird ones, that's probably already been done ones. Just get it all out. No judgment, no editing. Templates, guides, workbooks, courses, checklists, scripts, planners, trackers, challenges, audio trainings, video tutorials. Write it down. On days 17 and 18, well, we're going to filter. So now look at your list and start narrowing it down. For each idea, ask yourself, do I actually have the expertise to create this? Is this something my audience actually needs? Could I create this in a reasonable time frame? What would people pay for this? Does this excite me? You're looking for ideas that check most, if not all of these boxes. Now we're going to pick your top 3 in days 19 through 21. So narrow down your list to your top 3 ideas. These should be the ones that you're most excited about and that your research shows people actually need. For each of these 3, write down these questions. What problem does this solve? Who is this for specifically? What format could this be? Ebook, template, course? What could you charge for this? How long would it take for you to create it? By the end of week 3, you should have 3 solid contenders. Moving on to days 22 through 30, and we're going to make sure that you're on the right track here. This final week is about testing your ideas before you spend time creating them. So days 22 through 24 is for the poll test. Take your top 3 ideas and test them with your audience. Post polls on Instagram stories, in Facebook groups, or wherever your people are. Frame it like, hey, I'm working on something new and I want your input. Which of these would be most helpful to you right now? When you do this, see what gets the most engagement. What do people actually click on? Here's the ultimate validation. On days 25 and 26, you're going to pre-sell. And this is how you know if someone would buy it before it actually exists. So create a simple sales page or a post describing one of your ideas. Be honest that it's a pre-order and it won't be delivered for a few more weeks. Price it significantly lower than you plan to sell it for later. If people are willing to give you money for something that doesn't exist yet, then you know you're onto something good. And if nobody bites, well, that's okay. That's valuable information. Pick one of your other ideas and test it again. Now we're going to look at all the data that you've gathered, the poll results, the pre-sale response, and the comments that people have left. Does your idea need to be adjusted? Maybe people want it in a different format. Maybe they need it to be more specific. Maybe the price needs to shift a little bit. Use this feedback to refine your concept into its final form. All right, we've made it to days 29 and 30. By day 30, you need to commit to one idea. Write it down, make it official. This is what you're creating. This is who it's for. This is the problem it solves. And here's something important. Perfectionism is going to try to creep in here. You're going to second guess yourself. That's normal. But remember, you've done the research, you've talked to real people, you've validated the idea, so trust the process. So by the end of these first 30 days, here's what you should have: a clear understanding of your skills and expertise, a specific ideal customer that you're serving, real insights from audience research and conversations, a validated digital product idea that people actually want to buy, a clear plan for what you're creating, and confidence that you're moving in the right direction. Now, you're not creating yet, you're not marketing yet, you're just building the foundation. And that's exactly what these first 30 days are for. In the next video, we're diving into days 31 through 60, where you're actually going to create and perfect your product. And this is where the magic happens. But before you move on to that video, make sure that you've actually completed the first 30 days. Don't skip ahead, don't rush, because the stronger your foundation is, the easier everything else will be. And if you want my full framework for creating digital products from scratch, including all of the templates and resources that you need, check out my passive income playbook. I walk you through every single step, and I even include PLR products that you can use to get started fast. The link is in the description. That's your roadmap for the first 30 days. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and definitely subscribe, because the next 2 videos in the series are coming soon and you don't want to miss them. Drop a comment and let me know, what's the biggest thing holding you back from starting your digital product? Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.